Well, this book that I finished in 2011 really tries to capture the transition period away from the somewhat still liberal concept of the so-called Web 2.0 to the more strict and really monopolistic efforts of a very, very few companies. So it is about narrowing down the possibilities of the internet culture. Web 2.0 was clearly designed in an attempt to overcome the dot-com the crash, and so it was an attempt to redefine internet business, still relatively open, and in that environment, of course, players like Facebook, Twitter, and so many others have come up. But we can really see that from probably 2008, 2009 onwards, there's a narrowing down of the premises, the paradigms, and in the end also the list of global players in this field. And that is a story which deals with very, very few design principles of those social media we are now left with. No. Of course, we are in a global recession, stagnation period, and I think that also applies to, let's say, the collective imagination when it comes to the internet. More people are now realizing that we are stuck in this situation, and that's probably the good news. But no, I mean, the whole revelations after Snowden made it clear to many more people that that we need to have a debate again about internet architectures, and there's more filtering going on. There's more censorship. There's more corporate control in this area than ever before. So although the internet is still growing and expanding, and we're just about to add the next the next 1 billion users. So in that sense, there's certainly no end of sight in terms of growth. There is a lot of concern that the internet is broken and needs to be fixed. Of course, there are very large, state policies involved. Think of the NSA, but also China. There are large players. But in the end, even they depend, on the so-called geeks, on the engineering class, on the startup culture, on the the input and all the efforts that designers put in to build these flawless user interfaces. And that army is quite open for new ideas. Still, they need that, and that's precisely, let's say, the new point where we can interfere, and that's our cultural exploit, if you like. And this is where the critics can and do play a role. We need to politicize these fields. We need to understand that the creative sector, that the startup sector is a battleground of concepts and ideas. And if you just withdraw and say, well, it's all been decided and there's only a few players left, Facebook, Microsoft, Amazon, and a few more. I think that's a cynical way of looking at it. And in fact, we cannot afford that when you're when you're busy in the field of education and doing research. You have a responsibility to discuss, at least the possibility of alternatives. If you go to a kiosk and you buy a newspaper, luckily the guy who sells you the newspaper doesn't say, well, this newspaper has 25,000 words in it. And if you would hear that and think, oh God, now I've got to read 25,000 words, that's impossible. I'm not going to do that. I'm never going to make it, right? If newspapers would be sold like that, this newspaper contains 152 long and short articles. You think, oh my God, yeah. But that's not our approach to newspapers, right? We are in charge. We bought that newspaper, and that also means that we can choose whatever, how many articles we want to read. And we feel fine with that. It even gives us comfort that we can browse through it, but not read them all, right? So in our approach to the newspaper, we've really progressed, and in that sense, I can see a similar progress when it comes to social media. Now, we still look at it and think, oh my God, this is too much. At the moment, it certainly looks like the comment space is very sour and has worsened even over the past few years. And suddenly here in the Netherlands, we have a whole vocabulary now to express this decline in culture, if you like, because it's got really bad. Also due to, let's say, our UKIP Geert Wilders person who has really installed a whole, culture of really very, very bad commenting, which is very, very straightforward. And we don't have the libel culture here in Holland, so you can say whatever you like about anyone, right? And so in that sense, there's much more freedom of the press here than there is in the UK or other countries, and that reflects then on the comment culture, which really got out of hand, and there's already a lot of studies been done about that. But I don't want to complain about it and say that it's kind of our culture of freedom that's gone out of hand there. It's really what it is about is also the very fact that these days all these remarks are captured. Imagine we would have a comment culture that would be oral somehow, because most of the comment culture in the past, remember, in pubs and everywhere, on the streets, they were oral, but they were not captured, right? These days, that same comment culture is captured and can be analyzed. It's in a digital form, can be stored forever, at least that's the claim. So what frightens us is precisely that element of the digital which saves it, which is accessible to anyone, right? Which create a maximum visibility. Think of the comment culture in the Guardian, on the website, where you always have standard 1500, 2000, 2500 comments. Half an hour into the story. Now that's quite remarkable. But again, we need another design culture there, because in a way this is oral exchange done in written form. And maybe it should, for instance, it should die. It should delete itself. Comments, you can also say comments is part of a lively culture. Blogs are not relevant, but the blog architecture is still relevant. It's with us. So the blog architecture, in essence, led to both Facebook and Twitter. But you could also say that the blog entries, for instance, have further evolved now into long reads, and I'm interested in that development. People have acknowledged that, not all blog entries, but there are really good ones, and that they have now further evolved, right? They've really gone through the process of the essay and emerged into a new form itself, the long read or the long form. And they become very popular because people are a bit sick of only reading very, very small references and remarks to other information. Why should I only read references? This is the problem of Facebook and Twitter, right? It never comes up with any substance. It only refers to substance elsewhere. And that's nice if you're in this very brief moment where you search information, then it can be useful. In the same way as a search engine can be useful. And remember, Facebook and Google are competing there, because they both play with the idea of search. I sincerely hope that we can still break it open and have space for more experimentation, because what we see is the reverse development, and that's got to do with the fact that people are more and more familiarizing themselves. It's all slipping into this new kind of level of mass subconsciousness, right? Where the social media, for instance, become part of the everyday life. And when you see, we all know that when you see somebody walking into the elevator, very, very likely he or she is going to get out the smartphone and just check it before they arrive on the 6th floor, right? This is that is a new habit, and it's this habitual element which is very, very dangerous, because it forbids further experimentation and kind of solidifies the network architectures and says this is what it is, right? And then if we know what it is, it can then enter that level of the collective subconscious, and that is a very, very dangerous moment, and that's the moment also of complete and utter state and corporate control. Very simple idea, and that's that organized networks is a refusal and a reversal of the dominant social network architecture of Facebook, Google, Twitter, and so on. Namely, that it refuses to buy into that eternal growth idea. Yeah, because Facebook is refusing to open up new spaces and merely wants to, capture and the value of the existing social networks that are out there, which is kind of all about capturing value. And what we've always said is, these networks should also enable us to create something new, to go beyond the known horizons of the social. That's precisely what we can do with this technology, and that does not necessarily only have to imply, reaching as many people as possible for your product, right? Or to mobilize everyone for your protest, for that matter, right? We emphasize that this networking is also a reconfiguration of the new, where really the new is not only something that just arrives at your doorstep, but is something that you are actively involved in, and that you are looking for, and that can emerge out of new not only encounters but collaborations, and that's what we think is the unique possibility that the internet offers, and many people and find out about that, for instance, through dating sites. That's why dating sites are so popular, and I'm really excited that the dating sites are at least out there, and they offer people possibilities to step out of the known. Yeah, that's true, and in that sense, Facebook is very conservative. We all know that, but there are always times in life when people are really fed up with that conservative approach. When things no longer work, when there's no income anymore, when people are very uncertain, when they are forced in through whatever circumstances to open up. New inroads into the unknown, and that's when Facebook then becomes a serious obstacle, and that's not so much my opinion. I think that's sooner or later people will find out about that, and then we always point at that unique possibility we have. To forget all about it and start something else. Well, the ideal public sphere, first of all, I think is very material. So I don't have to say it's a one-on-one copy of the public infrastructure that we had 50, 100 years ago. But yeah, I often think about it in those terms. I think about the public sphere as an extension, as a virtual extension of these values. You could say, well, these values are a bit, yeah, civil society, bourgeois-like. Yeah, but you know, I hang on to them. For me, it's very, very important that you know, a square is a public square, and that it belongs to anyone. It's not owned by a corporation.